Have you ever pressed the snooze button and promised yourself just 5 more minutes? For Jack, those 5 minutes have turned into 5 long years of stagnation. He is trapped in a cycle of procrastination, where every morning feels like a repeat of a failed yesterday. The weight of his own laziness is crushing. Looking at the mirror, he no longer recognizes the man staring back. The spark is gone, replaced by the shadows of unfulfilled potential and deep, silent regret. The room is a physical manifestation of his chaotic mind. Bills are piling up, and the walls seem to be closing in as time slips through his fingers. Hours are lost in the infinite scroll, chasing cheap dopamine while his real life remains at a standstill. He is standing at the very bottom of his life. These are the ghosts of procrastination, invisible chains that keep him anchored to his comfort zone. Every second he waits, the deeper he sinks into the dark abyss. The clock is ticking, but for Jack, time has become his greatest enemy. He is waiting for a miracle that will never come unless he finally decides to move. This is the rock bottom of a soul that has given up. But sometimes, hitting the bottom is the only way to realize which way is actually up. The final blow came without warning. Jack was handed a termination letter, a cold reminder that the world has no place for those who refuse to grow. The pain of failure is sharp, but nothing hurts more than realizing you stayed in the same place while the rest of the world moved forward without you. At that moment, a familiar face passed by. It was Tom, an old friend from college, sitting behind the wheel of a car that Jack could only dream of. Tom had the same starting point as Jack, yet he moved with a sense of purpose and confidence that Jack had abandoned many years ago in his laziness. The contrast was unbearable. It wasn't envy that Jack felt, but a profound sense of shame for wasting the precious gift of his own time and talent. He hit the pavement hard, feeling the coldness of the ground. This was the moment of absolute truth. If he didn't change now, he would surely drown. The city is a giant machine that never sleeps, and Jack realized he was just a broken gear. He had to fix himself or be discarded forever. He remembered the boy he used to be, full of dreams and energy. That boy would be heartbroken to see the man Jack had become today. Every excuse he ever made was a link in a chain he forged himself. The weight was now so heavy that he could barely take another step. He stood at the threshold of his old life, knowing that if he walked inside and did nothing, he would never come back out as a winner. Deep in his soul, a tiny spark of anger began to flicker. Anger at himself, anger at his choices, and finally, the fierce desire to survive. The transformation didn't start with a miracle. It started with a choice made in the dead of night. Jack decided that he had enough of losing. He began to purge his environment. Every piece of trash thrown away was a piece of his old, lazy self being discarded. He was reclaiming his space. A clean room is a clean mind. By organizing his surroundings, Jack was teaching himself the very first lesson of his new life, the power of discipline. The silence was no longer heavy. It was a blank canvas. He realized he didn't need motivation anymore. What he truly needed was a relentless, ironclad routine. He wrote his new reality into existence. There was no middle ground, no more tomorrow. It was a battle for his soul, and he was the soldier. The emptiness in his gaze was gone. In its place was a sharp, piercing focus. He was finally waking up from a 5-year-long nightmare of his own making. He didn't start with big dreams. He started with a simple list of things he would do tomorrow. Small steps are the foundation of every giant leap. The world was still out there, moving fast, but Jack wasn't afraid anymore. He was ready to join the race no matter how far behind he started. He promised himself that he would never feel that rain-soaked shame again. The man who sat on that sidewalk died that night, and a warrior was born. Transformation is a painful process, like fire refining gold. Jack was ready to burn away everything that was holding him back from his ultimate destiny. He slept with a plan, and for the first time in a decade, he knew exactly why he would wake up the next morning. The battle began. The sun rose on a different Jack. The alarm rang once, and instead of hitting snooze, he threw the covers off and stood up immediately with force. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline will carry you across the finish line. Our Jack learned to show up and work even when he felt tired. Every drop of sweat was a payment toward his future. He was trading his comfort for strength and his laziness for the freedom he had always desired. He became a student of life again. Knowledge was the weapon he needed to climb out of the hole he had dug for himself over the years. He learned that the price of greatness is responsibility. He took full ownership of his past failures to ensure they would never haunt his future again. The temptations were still there, whispering for him to go back to sleep or scroll mindlessly. But his why was now much stronger than his want. He started from the bottom again, taking any job he could find and working twice as hard as everyone else. He was building his new foundation. Success requires sacrifice. Jack had to say no to the people who didn't respect his vision, choosing solitude over the distraction of a meaningless night. Months passed. The physical change was obvious, but the internal change was even more profound. He was no longer a victim. He was a creator. The small wins started to accumulate. A promotion, a compliment, a completed project. Each success was proof that his hard work was finally paying off. He treated his body like a temple. A strong mind requires a strong vessel. He was no longer the frail man hiding under the blankets. Discipline was now his lifestyle, not a chore. He found joy in the structure and the health that he had previously ignored for so long. He kept his humble beginnings close to his heart. It reminded him of where he never wanted to go back to. The fear was now fuel. He had climbed from the absolute bottom to the very top. He wasn't just surviving anymore. He was leading, inspiring, and truly living his life. How did he do it? How can you do it too? Here is the roadmap to your own rebirth. These are the rules of the game. Rule number 1, the 5-second rule. When you have an impulse to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. Don't think. Don't negotiate with your comfort. When the alarm goes off, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and launch yourself into the day like a rocket ship. Action is the only antidote to fear and procrastination. You don't need to feel like doing it. You just need to do it anyway. Rule number 2, micro goals. Stop looking at the top of the mountain. It's too far and too overwhelming. Just look at the next single step. Win the first hour of the morning and you win the day. Win enough days and you win your life. Focus on the small daily victories. Consistency is the secret sauce of success. Doing a little bit every single day is far better than doing a lot just once a week. Rule number 3, eliminate the noise. Your environment determines your mindset. If your space is cluttered and loud, your mind will be too. Turn off the notifications. Clear your desk. Protect your focus like it's your most valuable resource, because in today's world, it actually is. Create a sanctuary for your work. When you enter this space, your brain should know it's time to perform at the highest possible level. These rules are simple, but they are not easy. They require a daily commitment to your future self. Are you ready to follow them? Rock bottom can be the most painful place to be, but it is also the most solid foundation upon which to build a new life. Jack didn't just change his circumstances, he changed his soul. He discovered that the only thing standing between him and his dreams was himself. He made it. He broke the chains of procrastination and rose to the top. And the most important thing he learned is that you can too. Your current situation is not your final destination. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect starting right now. The story of your transformation starts today. Stop making excuses and start making progress. The world is waiting for the best version of you.